What is the inverse of that function? Well, we're going to find out the way we found all the previous examples. But now it's asking you to verify or check. There's an interesting way to do that. So we're going to find the inverse function the same way. Flip x and y, and then you solve for y, and you end up, in this case, getting y equals 1/2 x minus 5 halves. You can verify this if you use a skill we learned last lesson, which is doing a composite function. So we're going to do a composite function with the original function and its inverse in both directions. In both cases, when you compose the inverse function and the original function, you get back to x, which by definition makes it the inverse, because if you think of the first function as an operation and the inverse function as the inverse operation, the one outdoes the other. So you end up with x, which is what you started with, x. It's like if you take a number and you add 2, let's say you start with 5, you add 2, you get 7. You subtract 2, you get back to 5. You're back to where you started. In this case, you're looking at both those graphs. Y equals x intersects it. So here you're given a function and the second function. You're asked, are they inverses of each other? The way to check is to do what we just did. Compose them with each other. In this case, in both cases, you're not getting just x. So that means these are not inverse functions of each other. So you got a couple to try here. This is more like the second part of the example, where you're just checking to see whether or not two functions are inverses of each other. So you're going to compose them with each other, and if you get x, then it is. If you get anything else, it's not. So pause it, give these a try, and then come back and check. All right, so in part A, I did it in red. I only did the first half because once I composed it, I got -7/4 plus 7, which is not 0, but you would need it to be 0 for the x to be the solution there. So I didn't even bother doing g of f of x because f of g of x didn't work. So part A, they are not inverses of each other. Part B, compose them together and they both worked. So B, the functions in B are inverses of each other. All right, so let's try example 6.